What's going on, people? Welcome back to the Classics, the cinematic movie podcast that takes you back to the iconic films of 20 years ago. I am Jay Alonzo.
It's your boy K. Williams. Jay, I'm gonna have to stop you there, man. You said we take them back to these iconic, classic movies. I don't know if today's movie is iconic.
Well, it's really through the eyes of the beholder. That's why movies are great. They're subjective. You can think
I got a lot of subjects to go over with this one.
You can think today's movie's not iconic, but to the eyes of some, it is. But before we get into that, Kay, how you doing, my man?
Man, I'm good. Just chilling, living life. This weekend I watched Max Steel and Moana. I felt at home watching Moana. Okay, now, before we get into Moana, let me tell you about Max Steel. I seen it, and it is a piece of shit. Yeah.
Yep.
I agree.
Yep.
I agree.
Max Steel was a movie that absolutely nobody wanted, yet probably went and checked it out, probably. And then when they got to theater, there was like, this is bullshit. This movie is a piece of shit.
Yeah, Star Kid was way better than this.
Star Kid was way better. Like, I would have took a Star Kid remake, even though I don't want one, but still.
It would have been dope.
It would have been dope.
Star Kid remake would have been dope. With today's technology, it would have been dope.
Now, Moana, on the other hand, I absolutely loved. I watched it with my daughter. I think we watched it Sunday, and I loved it. It took me back to those classic Disney tales when it's, every other scene is a damn song. I loved it. I thought Dwayne Johnson did a fantastic job as was it Maui? His name was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Loved it.
He played a dope character. I really enjoyed him in that element as a voiceover. I think he did pretty good.
Are you catching any movies this weekend?
Incarnate. I'm gonna watch Incarnate this weekend.
Really?
I love my horror flicks. I want to see how scary it's supposed to be.
Or how
nowadays they don't make them scary no more.
Or how corny it's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be corny.
It's from
That's
WWE
how Lady in the
Films.
Black Dress has been killing me.
It's from WWE Films, so my expectations are kind of low.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, you just ruined my weekend. Didn't know it was a WWE film. Oh,
man, listen, man. Tomorrow night, I'm catching Star Wars Rogue One. I can't wait.
Yeah, I think I might have to dip off for that one.
Yeah. Star Wars Rogue
One. It's definitely worth a good 4 hours to myself.
I loved The Force Awakens, and I'm not a Star Wars head. Like, not at all.
What?
I mean, not at all. I remember the first Star Wars movie I ever saw in theaters was like Episode 1, only because it was popular to go. And I went and saw it. I'm like, this is boring. And I see why I'm not a Star Wars fan. But fast forward years later, and then we get Force Awakens. The one thing J.J. Abrams is great at, it was dope. The one thing he's great at is definitely taking a known property like a Star Wars or a Star Trek and revamping it for a new generation to where we can actually understand it. So with that being said, I thought Force Awakens was great. I'm seeing Rogue One tomorrow, and I'm seeing Collateral Beauty, I want to say Saturday.
Now, I can't wait to watch that. I watched his interview where he said he didn't care about how much money the movie make. This is supposed to be him saying goodbye to his dad. And I like the concept of the movie. So I'm intrigued to see this.
Yeah, me too. I'm really looking forward to watching the movie, even though early reviews are saying that Will Smith's performance is fantastic. The movie itself,
not so much.
But I'm going to check it out. I'm looking forward to watching it. I've always thrown my support to Will Smith. I think he's one of the greats of our time. So I'm totally down for it. So let's get into it, man. Okay, you ready to kick in the 2-minute drill? You ready for 2-minute drill, man?
Man, I'm ready.
Because I feel like we'll spend the majority of this episode talking to you about how much you hate this movie.
Yeah, I got some nice choice words for this one. But we gonna roll with it. I'm
juiced. So let's do it. Ready?
I'm ready.
2-minute drill starts now. One of the Motley Crue roadies is voiced by a former late night talk show host. Name the host.
Jay Leno.
Nope. David Letterman.
Damn, that's who I meant. I meant Letterman. Okay. That's cool. I'll take
They all
that.
run the same. They all run the same.
Agent Fleming is obsessed with giving anybody he comes in contact with what?
Cavity searches.
Yep.
Yeah. Which is it seems quite displeasing the way they conduct these things. But
yeah. Because he definitely wants them to go deep.
Deep and hard. Okay, who voices Agent Fleming?
Oh. Ooh, it's on the tip of my tongue. You would ask me and it slips away. See, you know what? I'll get into that later in the show. I'll get to that later in the show. I'm gonna say I don't know.
Robert Stack, also known as the creepy ass voice from Unsolved Mysteries.
Yep. Okay. What did I don't want to ask it that way. On the plane, one of the characters mistook the old lady as a what?
As a slut.
What was she supposed to be saying?
Slots. But to his defense, it sounds a lot like slut, though. I'm just saying.
I don't know.
We got 15 seconds. Agent Fleming reminds Borg about ending his sentences with a what?
Preposition.
Good. That's it.
Yes, I got that. Yes. All right.
So that's 1-3. I kicked your ass.
Yeah, you definitely got that.
Mm-hmm. So I'll be more than happy to kick this thing off. Because once again, I'm looking forward to what you're going to say about it. I feel like you're really going to be upset. And I just can't wait to hear you go off.
Well, first off, let me say this. You only kicked my ass in this one because this movie killed my brain cells. So continue.
Well, I mean, were you inebriated when you watched it?
No, but I should have been.
That's the problem, man.
Watching this movie, I felt like I needed to get high just to erase it.
All right, well, let's do it. The movie we are talking about today is the time-honored classic, MTV's
the worst movie I ever seen.
Stop it, Kay. MTV's first movie release. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going back to Beavis and Butthead Do America. Hell yeah.
Hell no.
Hell yeah. All right, so original release date, December 20th, 1996. Opening weekend with Ghost of Mississippi, good movie. My Fellow Americans, One Fine Day, and Scream. Total gross, $63.1 million on a budget of $12 million. 72% on Rotten Tomatoes. Kay, do you agree with that score?
72%?
72%.
Hell no, I don't agree with that. I feel like they should have got a 28.
Kay, so upset. I love it.
I feel like this movie should have got 28% on Rotten Tomatoes. Whoever did the review on Rotten Tomatoes was clearly high. Clearly.
Let's not judge. I won't judge. Are you ready to get into real talk?
Yeah, man. Let's get into this.
Let
me start it off. Right, I know you won, but let me start this off, okay? First off.
It's a gentleman's thing, but go ahead.
First off, the movie opens up with Beavis and Butthead, 60 foot tall, walking through the streets, fighting off the army, and they ended up really being asleep. But in the midst of this dream, they getting robbed.
Well, before you even go to the dream itself, remember the line when he's walking through, and I believe it's Butthead who's walking down the street, and he kicks the tank, and he goes by the apartment, and he looks into the apartment where he sees this chick with like big boobs. So he's thinking he's gonna score. So he walks over to the apartment where she's hanging out at, and he goes, "Hey, baby."
Don't do the voice. Don't do it.
It's great. I love it. I love it.
For him to say, "I'm tall," as a pickup line,
I'm like,
clearly he needed help. He needs help. She can clearly see you're really tall.
Like you said, it turns out all to be a dream, and while they're pretty much dreaming, they're being robbed at the exact same time. They wake up, and then the TV's gone.
Right out the house. Mm-hmm. TV's gone. Broken window, footprints everywhere, and they're just sitting there, clicking the remote.
Which makes for another great moment, because Butthead wakes up and sees what's going on. It's a little part when he's looking at the empty space where the TV used to be, then looking at the footprints on the floor, then looking at the obvious open door, and he's still trying to piece everything together. And the one thing he comes up with is, this sucks.
Not we got robbed. Not when did this happen.
This sucks.
This sucks.
Yeah, I mean, that would be my sentiments.
Clearly he was high. He was drunk. He was something. But I digress. Right after he says this sucks, they show the two dudes that robbed him loading the TV
outside
into the back of their minivan.
Not even a block away from where the house was. They're outside loading it up.
Right next door. Don't make no sense.
The next scene, we get this really Shaft-esque opening credit scene in which Beavis and Butthead are these two badass detectives, I guess.
I had high hopes for the movie based off the opening credit scene. I was like, okay, it may be pretty decent. First off, let me put the disclaimer out. I have never seen Beavis and Butthead.
I was just about to ask you.
Until this popped up.
So not one time.
My first time watching it was Saturday.
First time ever?
Ever.
Wow.
I wasn't a fan of the show. I think I watched the show once and was like, this is not my cup of tea. And just never watched it. I didn't even know they made a movie.
I would occasionally have to sneak off and watch it. Which is weird because back in these days, the parents would let you watch Ren and Stimpy, but just was totally against Beavis and Butthead, though. And in retrospect, Ren and Stimpy was worse.
Definitely. It was a lot worse.
On occasion I had to sneak off and watch it. But for what I did see, I love the fact that it was a half cartoon, half MTV VJ show, because they'll show these, really cool videos of all genres too. Rock, hip hop, pop, jazz. They show videos for pretty much everything. Beavis and Butthead kind of acted as a half cartoon, half countdown show for MTV, which was successful.
So it was a filler. It was one of those filler shows.
No, I wouldn't call it a filler show. Not at all. You just don't get it, Kay. Okay? There's people out there who really enjoy the Beavis and Buttheads of the world, okay?
Shame on them.
Shame. And now we search for their TV. So
I give them due. I give them their credit. They made it to the big screen. I feel they should have stayed on the small screen. They shouldn't have made it this far. But, that's just my personal opinion.
Stop it. Stop it.
I feel like this movie was made for the stoners.
Because it was. It totally was. Butthead plans to steal a TV from the school.
Shout out to Highland High School.
Shout out to Highland High School. We get to the school, and they're pretty much wheeling the school's TV from the AV club outside, and then the teacher, Mr. Van Dreesen, I want to say his name is, who's a very
they ain't say his name in the movie.
very hippie, Woodstock kind of guy. So he catches the boys pushing the TV out, and he tries to enlighten them, and they just don't.
He reminds me of that teacher off of South Park.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Him. Mm-hmm.
I love that scene because as he's going into his whole thing about, get in touch with your inner peace and yada, yada, yada. Only thing they got out of that whole monologue was, what a dork. and they proceed to take the damn TV anyway. Now when they get outside, Beavis is pushing the TV. The TV ends up falling down the steps and breaking.
So that's because they weren't doing it right.
They weren't doing it right at all.
It was already slow. They had the whole cart trying to push the cart and TV and VCR and the cable cords down some stairs.
And then, of course, we get the principal. Oh, no! Beavis and Butthead! You bastards! You're expelled!
They ain't even listen to that.
Nah. That belongs in the AV club.
I'm sorry for the people in the AV club. They ain't got no TV no more.
Bastards.
So then you leave from there, and they stop by Mr. Anderson's camper to watch his TV, and his wife opens the door, hit Beavis in the head, and she was like, "Are you here for the refrigerator?" No, we're here for the TV.
We're here for the TV. Oh. Tom did say the TV
was broken. Then they go in, they watching TV, and Mr. Anderson reminds me of Hank Hill.
Funny thing about it, Tom Anderson was actually the inspiration for Hank Hill.
I can see that.
Yeah, because you see how they kind of sound
propane accessories.
Yeah. God damn it.
His whole demeanor and mannerism and the way he spoke definitely was Hank Hill.
Hey, you mess up anything in that camper, me and you gonna tangle.
Yeah, it was Hank Hill pre-Alley.
Yeah.
That's definitely what I got.
But yeah, King of the Hill came from that character, which was another show I think probably deserves a movie as well. But that's just me, though.
Yeah. No, not at all. It's a good show. Definitely don't deserve a movie.
So, they're watching TV in Anderson's camper. Beavis gets up to go get a soda. Obviously, completely forgetting the fact that the fridge is broken. Breaks open the cola, gets a sip, and spits on the TV and breaks that TV.
They don't need no TV. See,
they don't need
this
TV.
Is why I'm in favor of taking things from kids, because they do not respect it.
Where are their parents? Are they brothers?
I thought they was cousins.
What's Butthead's real name?
Butthead. It's Butt is his first name. Head is his last.
Got it.
When they get kicked out of the camper, did you peep Mr. Anderson tell them, "I recognize you two. You're the ones who be whacking off in my tool shed.
You're the boys that just be whacking off in my tool shed."
I need them to get their life together.
They're like 20-year-old.
They proceed down the street. Yeah. But they proceed down the street, walk past this motel that says live color TV. So they decide to knock on every door and open them to see if they could find a TV to take home. One of the doors they opened up ended up being the principal, bent over on the bed, getting spanked in his underwear. And he's trying to scold them while he's getting spanked at the same time.
He's trying to expel them again while bent over getting his ass spanked. Beavis and Butthead, you bastards, you're expelled.
Definitely don't get it. They cut scene, and we end up meeting Muddy Grimes, who's on the phone with a guy who's trying to put a hit out on his wife. They end up walking in, trying to get his TV. He tells them, "I want you to do my wife. I'll give you 10,000.
Pause that. Who is the voice of Muddy?
I have no idea.
You couldn't pick up on that? Man,
nope.
That's John McClane himself, baby.
You know, I didn't pick up on a lot of stuff in this movie because, again, my brain cells was being fried as I was watching it.
It just burnt you all up. That's terrible.
You know, they say a mind is a terrible thing to waste, and I feel like I wasted it on Beavis and Butthead.
I can't wait till we get to the Cornholio scene. Which is coming up. Which is definitely coming up.
It is. He tells them, "I give you 10 G's. I want you to do my wife." Butthead is the only smart one. He's like, "Hey, this dude's going to pay us to have sex with his wife." Completely not even picking up on what he's really saying. Right. He don't understand what do her mean. I was with it. I was like, "Hey, y'all can stop whacking off in Mr. Anderson's tool shed. Y'all about to go get y'all some. I'm all for it. I'm rooting for the home team." They're driving to the airport. He's explaining to Beavis and Butthead what he wants them to do and what he wants them to bring back, which is the X5 unit, which we now learn is like bad news and some black market shit. They think he wants them to score. What he wants them to do is kill Dallas, his wife, right? It's something about this scene. Dallas was cute, though. Dallas was cute. Do you know who voiced Dallas? Nope. Demi Moore? Not so much cute anymore. It could be a quick hit later on. That could be a quick hit later on. Have you noticed that when he pretty much kicks them out of the car once they get to the airport, he doesn't give them like a plane ticket or doesn't confirm if they have any kind of identification to fly. He just drops them off like, "Now don't let me down," and just takes off. But he didn't pay him either. He didn't pay him, you're right. So he wasn't necessarily... I mean, they didn't care about that, but you know. We finally get to the airplane,
and they're flying to Vegas. And we get Beavis sitting next to this cool-ass old lady.
Hey, she was dope.
She was dope. She was just way too cool. She's one of those old people who just really love younger folks. Not in a weird, creepy way. Just like, she appreciates the young generation.
Like a Betty White.
Like a Betty White, if you will. They're sitting there, and Beavis is talking to the old lady, and the old lady talks about how they're going to Vegas, and Beavis has to let the old lady know that they're going out there to score. And while all this is going down, the stewardess is walking over to Butthead's seat to assist him with his seatbelt. He gets a hard on and falls in love just as quick. So she gets a seatbelt on. Meanwhile, Beavis is talking to the old lady, letting her know that he poops too much and he gets tired. and Beavis also gets pissed because as the sexy stewardess is helping out Butthead with his seatbelt, the cool old lady is helping out Beavis with his seatbelt. He's like, cut it out. I want her to do
it. Hey, I like that scene. Shouts out to the old lady, because she definitely made this movie better for me.
Much more enjoyable
and for you. Yeah, she made it more enjoyable, bro. Because she was feeding Beavis all her drugs, all her pills, trying to help him with his poop situation.
And that's when we get the first appearance of Cornholio.
Now, question. Mm-hmm. Was Cornholio, was he like a big influence in the TV show?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Usually Cornholio is the drug-induced alter ego of Beavis. So when he has enough pills in his system, he starts going hard.
Gotcha.
And he needs TP for his bunghole.
Yeah, toilet paper for his ass, right.
Now, another part of that scene that I love is when he finally gets into, like, full Cornholio, and while Butthead's trying to, like, score with the stewardess, he walks his ass over to the cockpit, and the pilots are just flying, everything's just cool, and he just busted, I am Cornholio, and damn near crashed the plane.
They kicked his ass out real quick, brought the plane back to level. It was dope. They end up going to Vegas. Mm-hmm. They land. Mm-hmm. They meet the dude that's holding the Mr. Beavis and Mr. Butthead sign. Mm-hmm. And this is the moment I realized they couldn't read. They didn't even know how to read their own name.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
And Butthead ends up putting it together. Butthead is the one that put it together.
Before he was like... But wait a minute. He actually moons the driver first because he's thinking the guy's blind.
Right.
Mm-hmm. He thinks the guy's blind.
They end up reading the sign, and the guy's like, he was like, hey, Beavis, these guys got our same last name. Our same name. We need to party with them. And the guy was like, come with me.
Like, this way, sirs, dumbasses.
But did you hear him? Did you hear him after they said, after the driver said this way? He was like, hey, where the guys at? I want to party with them.
Oh, yeah. I remember that part. Now they're in Vegas, and what appears to be pretty legit Las Vegas, just done in a cartoon sense. You see the montage of your typical Vegas scenes in movies, and then I'm going to say they're at the Luxor, because there's a part where they're looking up at what appears to be an Egyptian sculpture with the titties out, and so they're all fantasizing and looking at the boobs. Even at one point tried to climb it. And then we cut back to the band, which I do believe was voiced by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, because their song was actually on the soundtrack.
What's the name of the song they were singing?
Love Roller Coaster.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. That song was dope.
Mm-hmm. Beavis and Butthead is on the dance floor doing their iconic dancing, or lack thereof. But only thing Butthead really does, Butthead kind of like just humps the air and like smacks the pretend ass, and Beavis kind of just rocks out on his own. That's how they dance.
That's a trademark dance for them.
Definitely from the show.
Interesting.
They get escorted back to the room once they discover that they are actual guests of the hotel, and that's when we finally get to meet Dallas.
I like Dallas because Demi Moore, she made that character come to life. Mm-hmm. Beavis and Butthead walked over to the door because they heard a female on the other side. She opened the door, pistol hanging out, dragged him in, and was like, how much is the dude paying you? He said $10,000 to score with you. And she was like, I'll pay you 20. Now, Butthead was like, you want us to do a dude? Beavis is considering it. I mean, we can, close our eyes and pretend until he got slapped.
Yeah.
Butthead is a true friend. He's a true friend.
Yeah, but Beavis is also the type to do whatever for the dollar. Who's the real true friend here?
I don't know. That's a hell of an L to take, bro.
That's a hell of an L to take. But anyway, she agrees to have them meet her in Washington. And while they're fighting to get it on, while they're fighting to see who's going to get a chance to do her first, she sews the X5 unit into Beavis's shorts.
That's a long time for them to be fighting. For her to cut a hole in his shorts, sew it back nicely to where it fits, and toss it back to him.
Now, well, hold on now. She could have been a beast with that needle and thread. You never know.
Did you see what she was wearing?
I'm just saying, you should never judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, I mean, her seamstress game was on point.
On point. You never know. You never know. So they hop the bus en route to Washington. They have several stops to make between Las Vegas and Washington. And then we bump into the cool-ass old lady again and her husband.
Was that really her husband? I just think it was somebody from, her senior citizen shelter. Because remember, she was on the flight dolo.
Oh, that is true.
She was on the flight dolo.
That is
so
true.
It may not have been her husband. It may have been somebody from the senior citizen complex she stayed at. But nonetheless, they hop on the Dream America tour bus.
So is the Dream America tour
run
bus
into the old lady?
Is the Dream America tour bus like a old singles club?
Nah, that's that retirement road trip. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's only for the retirees, the retirement road trip. They spend their little SSI check and go ball out.
I'm about to go get it in that Hoover Dam one time. Absolutely.
Right. So, they on the bus. They fighting. Butthead's kicking Beavis in the butt right on the X5 because his butt itches and he's trying to get into his seat. Mm-hmm. And they do a little montage of them driving around, and the first stop they go to is the Hoover Dam. Now, while they're at the Hoover Dam, Dallas is being interrogated by Agent Fleming, mm-hmm. who is threatening her with yet another deep, hard cavity search.
Deep and hard.
And they had to let her go because she didn't have it. And he just told her, I'm on to you. I'm watching you. Watch your back. And they end up getting word that two kids was seen leaving Dallas's room before they pulled in. And they got their picture. They cut back to Beavis and Butthead at the Hoover Dam. And these fools done made it into the control room. Before that, it goes to show how fucking stupid they are. When the guy is explaining the Hoover Dam to the crowd, Beavis talking so much shit oh yeah. Is this a goddamn and all that? The next part is when the actual Hoover Dam is erupting, right? And you got the old lady and the old guy, and they're saying, "Oh, this is amazing. Yeah, that's something." Cut to these two. They're in the damn bathroom discovering the automatic flush urinals. That's amazing. They're so into it. End up getting left.
Get on a whole different bus.
Well, these fools get on the bus filled with nuns.
Well, before we even get to the bus with the nuns part, you started off in the control room at the Hoover Dam, and they managed to literally flood the Hoover Dam and in the process make Las Vegas lose power.
Now, with that being said, Vegas power only runs off of Hoover Dam water being ran through. I need y'all to get off that Hoover Dam. Skip all that clean energy. Just go ahead and be like everybody else. Run up a power bill. They
get on the bus with the nuns, and they manage to get to a church while with the nuns. Beavis is playing Man the Cloth, and people are
Beavis and Butthead.
You're right. But Beavis in particular, because one guy asked him about Hail Marys, and he goes 1,000. And I want you to hit yourself. And the dude and the view from outside of the actual confessional is like he's hitting himself so hard. I'm like, bro, what the hell?
What did that scene for me though is when they got outside.
Yeah, because
right before they got on the bus,
they got shot
down. I ain't never seen a cartoon where somebody got smited.
Got completely smited. But the cool thing is though, is that they get to the next place. Oh no! Did the bus leave them at the church?
No. They ended up getting back on the bus and going to the Petrified Wood.
Right.
Museum.
Right. Wood.
And the nuns dipped on them.
Then they dipped on them. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Now, I like this scene because while Beavis and Butthead is at the Petrified Wood, they cut back to Agent Fleming, who has a roadblock. They checking cars. The first car they run up on is yet again Mr. Anderson. Mm-hmm. And Mr. Anderson, he looks at the picture and is like, yeah, I know those two. They be whacking off in my camper.
We got a positive ID.
And they go through and rip up his whole camper. They show Muddy at the checkpoint. And Muddy's like, oh yeah, I don't know those dudes. Never seen them. Is it safe to drive? And the guy was like, yeah, just stay on the main highway because they're probably out in the desert.
He drives up like 6 inches and then drives into the desert.
Right. And then they cut back to Beavis and Butthead, who, while in the desert, they find their biological fathers, but are too stupid to see that.
The Motley Crue roadies, yep.
And then B, they pass out in the desert. Now, right before they pass out, here we go. Another moment, brain cells were dying. Beavis asks Butthead,
I know it.
Isn't there water in the cactus? And Butthead doesn't say anything, but Beavis still bites into the plant. It was not a cactus. He goes on an acid trip.
Even better than that, before the acid trip like legit kicks in, Butthead goes, hey, check it out. And the camera pans back and see 2 birds pretty much going at it. You learn that even when they're facing imminent death, these two are fucking retarded.
Yep. Definitely. While right before Beavis has his acid trip, you got Butthead who says, hey Beavis, I see my life flash before my eyes. And it's nothing but him sitting on the couch growing up.
Doing
From babies to toddlers to middle schoolers to high school. Doing the same thing.
My life ruled.
Nothing. Exactly. You didn't do nothing.
That's when Beavis goes into the Rob Zombie music video hallucination scene, which I read the other day that Rob Zombie actually designed that whole scene because he had a song on the soundtrack too.
It looks like a Rob Zombie scene.
Are you a Rob Zombie fan?
I am of his movies. I am a Rob Zombie fan of his movies.
No, not the movies, the music.
Nah. Not necessarily the music. You know, if I listen to rock and roll, it'll be like Tool, 9 Inch Nails. Like, I like that type of heavy metal.
When it comes to rock, I like Rob Zombie. I think Rob Zombie is dope. Always been dope. Movies, I can take it or leave it. You know, I thought the first Halloween was okay. Second one was trash. Devil's Rejects was
second
cool.
one he could have did without.
Yeah, Devil's Rejects was cool. The most recent one, 31, about the clown thing, I was, it was alright. I didn't love it.
What about Salem?
Salem was a bit disturbing, but overall, it was alright. Anyway, back to this movie. We get past the hallucination music video, and then we see that Muddy catches up with him and forces them...
Shotgun in hand.
Shotgun, double barrel, ready to blast. Forces them into the trunk. They're now in Muddy's trunk. Jacking off.
Literally. Yeah. They hop in his trunk. They find a jack. They jack off. They use the jack to open up the trunk. Yeah.
Yeah.
He literally was jacking off. Yeah. Butthead, not a true friend, definitely pushed Beavis out of a rolling car on the highway and causes a 10-car pileup.
He told Beavis to run really fast. That way, when he slows down, he can slow down. So Beavis listens to his boy, gets pushed out, and he starts hauling ass, but he doesn't do it very long, though.
Yeah, he did it for like 2 seconds and rolled, causing that 10-car pileup. Muddy hit a bump, Butthead's hanging onto the trunk with his hands until it closed. Definitely fell into the highway as well.
But he landed on Mr. Anderson's windshield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And caused another 10-car pileup.
Mm-hmm.
What's so dope about that scene is they still managed to get on Dream America.
They got back on Dream America, exactly.
After everybody then got hit with the deep, hard cavity search, all them old people that had their prostate checked.
Deep. And
they ended up eluding the FBI and getting right back on it.
At this point, Muddy makes to Washington and he catches up with Dallas. He plans on killing Dallas, but of course Dallas, in awe of her ex-wife Glory, she decides to seduce her ex-husband to get him to not kill her and have him join forces. And then that's when we get the love scene, or lack thereof, between Muddy and Dallas to the sweet sounds of LL Cool J, Ain't Nobody.
At least they had style and taste.
I mean, who was LL Cool J?
Now we're in D.C. Mm-hmm. Dallas has seen them get off the bus. She ends up catching up with Muddy. They have their little fun in the back seat of the car. And who cock blocks? Agent Fleming. Cock blocking.
He just can't wait to give them cavity searches.
Right. And while they're getting caught by Agent Fleming, Beavis and Butthead is now in the Capitol looking for Dallas because they're trying to score. They done hopped on that little intercom.
Before that,
the whole Congress laughing.
Before that, Dallas totally sells Muddy out. When Muddy's all happy, like, that's where you wrong, buddy. Me and my wife were getting back together. And she was like, shit, he sold the unit. Like, you put in some kids' pants. It just completely just sells Muddy out after giving him the taint.
Yeah. Hey, she sold him out quick, too.
I mean, quick.
She wasn't playing. She was not playing.
They're in D.C. Once again, Beavis is in the previous scene. Beavis had already digged back to the old lady's bag again and was able to get more drugs, more pills to pop. We're now bracing for the return.
That's because they had left the Capitol and they on their way now to the White House. Mm-hmm. But what I like about this scene is Beavis had a rant. He's like, the old lady was like, well, we about to go home. And he's like, no, we're not going home. I haven't scored yet. I drove all this way, to get this chick and score, and I haven't scored yet. It's my American right to score. He went on this whole rant. And the old lady just staring at him.
And the bus driver just trying to hey man, sit down. Shut up, asswipe. We're never going to score. We're never going to score. We're never going to score.
And didn't he get into a fight with the bus driver?
Yes, the bus driver bum rushes him and they get into a quick fight on the floor of the bus.
The old lady done gave him some more pills, thinking it's going to help him calm down. She done gave him no dose. So now he's on a road, he's on a rage. He's eating all her drugs in her purse. And he's about to go back into his alter ego at the White House.
The return of Cornholio. So he's going through the White House as Cornholio. Meanwhile, where's Butthead at this whole time?
He's following the tour.
Following the tour, right.
Yep, Butthead followed the tour.
So he's going through it, and I love the scene when he's walking through the White House and he sees the picture of Nixon and those iconic the two peace signs, and he tries to mimic that with his own Cornholio sign, but it's something about Cornholio when he has the shirt over his head and the two hands up like he's surrendering. I love Cornholio. That's a great character. That's a great alter ego.
You would like Cornholio.
You damn right like Cornholio. So outside, as Cornholio, Beavis sees Anderson's camper parked outside the White House and looks down at the picture of Dallas, and he's ready to get nasty. So he goes inside Anderson's camper to start whacking.
Now, while he's outside whacking, you got Cornholio running amok all through the White House. He ends up walking where the dignitaries are. They're evacuating all the dignitaries, but one of the dignitaries ended up, he looked like he was like an Indian dignitary, but he ended up looking like he fucks with Cornholio. They ended up evacuating the White House, and everybody's outside. Cornholio's with the dignitaries just chilling, and then he walks away and goes into the crowd. What I liked about this scene, before he walked out with the dignitaries, he hops on the president's red phone, and he's talking as Cornholio to whatever military branch that is, and they're like, we're going to go into DEFCON 4.
And he's just beatboxing and shit?
Right. Beavis is on the phone, but Butthead ends up finding the president's daughter and gets tossed out the window.
Right. So,
and he gets captured pretty much by the FBI.
back outside, the ATF, I guess they have a positive ID that he's outside, as Cornelio. And so the ATF surrounds Beavis. Agent Fleming, they all just surround Beavis, guns drawn, pretty much waiting to kill him or trying to kill him. And just as they get ready to take him out, Anderson busts out of the camper with his pants. Take your goddamn pants. Always whacking off in my camper.
Hold on. Before you get there, did you peep the scene after Butthead had been violated by the ATF agent? He had his cavity search.
Yes, I forgot that
He was in the camper
scene.
with his sock on, one shoe off, hair messed up, and he was like, can we do that again?
He said, did I just score? So yeah, I forgot about that scene. Forgive me. At this point now, once they see Anderson has Beavis's pants in his hand, they've already identified that Beavis's pants has the unit in it. One of the agents goes, he has the unit! Get it! And so, basically, at the end of the whole thing, Muddy in Dallas goes down, obviously, but then Anderson takes the hit too because he had the pants with the unit in it.
Mm-hmm. What happened? Did he swing or throw the pants to make the unit fall out?
I think one of the ATF agents ran for Anderson, grabbed the pants ends up ripping, causing the unit to kind of fly out, literally landing in Butthead's hands. And he's just like, here you go.
Just gives it to him.
Mm-hmm. So we see...
And they end up becoming heroes?
More or less. They didn't give him shit. Oh, no, take it back. They get with cartoon Bill Clinton, who gave them, like, deputy badges or something like that.
Something to that effect.
Right? They get back to Highland. They're walking, and they happen to come across their TV, just kind of sitting on the lawn there. They pick it up, walk off into the sunset, or walking back home to watch some good old TV. The end.
All that for a TV.
The end. But before we get into takeaways, I have to ask you, how many times did you watch this movie?
All right. So let's see. Saturday, I attempted to watch it. Mm-hmm. First time, I fell asleep. When they fell asleep in the desert, I fell asleep. Mm-hmm. And when I woke up, it was over. Then I tried again Sunday, and I think I fell asleep when he had his acid trip. So close to the same area. It took me about 3 or 4 times to watch it. But after I watched it, so I'd say I watched it 7 times in total.
7 times? Jesus Christ. Well, last night, I watched it again last night. And I told you on the phone that I finished the movie. I had watched, I watched the credits because I do that. I like to watch credits. Kiss my ass. But I watched the credits, finished up my notes, and for some reason, it's like my body told my brain, bruh, you are tired. I'm watching the movie. I just finished it up. I don't know. Next thing you know, I just blacked out. I literally just fell asleep.
You know why?
Why?
Because you watched the movie and it killed your brain cells. But
shut up, okay. So I fall asleep. I wake up maybe 1 in the morning. I finished the movie about 9:15, 9:30. I wake up around 1 a.m. and every light in my room and in my apartment is on. I didn't turn off a single light.
Dead brain cells.
To the outside, everybody in my house is still awake. My daughter's been asleep for like 6 hours already. So,
yep.
Yeah, so I can give you that. Maybe the movie did kind of ruin a few brain cells, but I don't care. I love Beavis and Butthead. They're great characters.
You would.
So
that's what people with dead brain cells say.
Yeah, whatever. Let's get into takeaways, man. I know you got some awards to give.
Oh, you know I do. My takeaway is this whole movie. They shouldn't have made it.
No, not yet. That guy award. Go.
That guy would definitely go to Agent Fleming. He was relentless. But that chick, the old lady. The old lady gets that chick award. Because without her, this movie would have been worse. It would have been worse than what it was.
Leave it alone.
It would have been worse. I'm sorry. I can't.
All right.
You made me watch this.
Okay. Yeah, because this is what we do. We do movies, man. So, my That Guy award is going to Beavis. Because, like I said, even with him considering when he thinks that Dallas is offering them 20 racks to go and do Muddy, from their perspective, he's like, well, it is $20,000. He's thinking about the money. I'm not saying I'll do it, but I am saying he's all about the money. He's trying to buy himself a new TV. And
I mean, if you got a friend that's gonna do that, you might want to rethink your friendship.
Like, hey, bro, that's by your damn self, bro. Don't involve me, bro. But not to mention, I get two that guy awards because I get Beavis and I get Cornholio in all of his glory. So yes, my that guy award is going to Beavis. That chick award, I was gonna give it to the old lady, but I knew you would, so I'm gonna give it to Dallas. Dallas represents the sexiness of cartoons. She's a typical looking cartoon, but just drawn really well. And she was out to get hers, man.
I give you that. Dallas was cutely drawn.
She's out to get hers, man.
But that chick was definitely grandma. The granny, that old lady had everything, man. Did you see? She was a pharmacy.
Oh yeah, off top, she was the pharmacy. Absolutely. Who's getting the This Fool Award?
The Big Fool Award. I think this fool would definitely have to go to two people. It would have to go to Beavis and Butthead's fathers. I'd have to give this fool to them two.
Okay.
Because clearly, you can tell them your kids. Yeah. I don't care what anybody say.
The level of stupidity is just ridiculous. This is at an all-time high. I can't believe Stupid Goals is deep.
It was definitely unreal.
My This Fool Award is going to go to Tom Anderson. Being such a patriot, he allows himself to get put in some pretty fucked up positions, Like, he only wanted to go to Washington with his wife, see the White House, and ends up going down as a black market dealer for a dangerous virus that he shouldn't have had on him, but he kind of just happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he'd have to get This Fool Award. Sorry, Anderson, you suck.
But Anderson kind of put his wife in the mix too, because low key she went to jail.
No, she got a really good cavity search, deep and hard. All right, so the BTTC iconic movie moment for you. Go.
Iconic movie moment. I honestly think I'd have to give the iconic movie moment to the scene of them in the desert. I think that was very pivotal for the movie to show, how small the world is and how stupid they are. Especially for this type of movie. They saw their parents. First off, these kids clearly live by themselves. Beavis, his flashback point was him as a sperm cell getting pushed into a red egg that had mold on it. That was his flashback. And then Butthead, his flashback was from when they were infants, just sitting on the couch alone. So I'd have to give the iconic moment to the desert.
All right, and what's getting to cut that out?
Cut that out? Them at the petrified wood. They could have cut that out.
But why though? Why cut that out?
Because it's a wood museum. They could have switched it and made it something totally different. They doing all these different national parks. Ain't nobody going to a national park for wood. Petrified wood.
All right, so my BTTC iconic movie moment. I'm gonna share yours, but I'm gonna make mine a bit more specific. It's gonna be the Beavis hallucination music video scene, because like you, is a pivotal moment in the movie because outside the movie itself, that pretty much represented the 90s as grunge rock and roll. It was almost on its way out. Mm-hmm. I also felt like that scene definitely solidified MTV as one of those staples of music because even though they don't play shit music related now, it showed MTV as that iconic music staple that they've always been since we was younger.
Okay.
When throwing original artwork by Rob Zombie plus the Rob Zombie song in the background and just a full-blown acid trip, I dug it. I've always loved that scene. I actually bought the soundtrack because of that scene because I liked the song.
Look at you.
Yeah. Loyal. My cut that out scene, I have none. This movie is 1 hour and 20 minutes long. I have no problem with it. I wouldn't take anything out. I wouldn't put anything in. this movie didn't need to be 2 hours long. This movie, it was a simple 80 minutes, and I am good.
I could have did with a 60-minute movie. You know, that would have worked.
No. Hour 20, we're good. We're in there. All right, so
I killed enough brain cells.
So let's get into Quick Hits, man. First of all, the fact that this movie has so many facts is surprising in itself. You know, we got a few here. All right, so let's get into it. In the desert scene where Beavis and Butthead hallucinate, voices are heard in the background. When the soundtrack is played backwards, Beavis and Butthead are heard speaking clearly, including phrases such as, "Everybody go to college, study hard, study hard."
Really?
Yeah. How unbelievable is that shit?
Very. I don't believe it. Literally.
Like, nope.
I don't believe that happened.
But, I
Not
mean,
at all.
To hear Beavis and Butthead say exactly, "Everybody go to college, study hard, I don't really see it, but that's just me.
But, you know, I give them, you know, credit. If they say that, then, you know, good deal.
Yeah.
Kudos to them for support, you know, for supporting that, going to college. Because this movie clearly doesn't look like it supports that at all.
One of the people sitting in the circle when the teacher sings Lesbian Seagull is Daria Morgendorffer, who later gets her own series called Daria. I'm only assuming because you didn't watch Beavis and Butthead, you also didn't watch Daria. Not
at all.
Okay, you're not a real MTV kid, man. Something's up.
Not at all. Not at all. MTV was not my station.
This is the only film from MTV Films to be animated.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah. Even though I kind of feel like Joe's Apartment, I think, was the next movie to come out from MTV. Even though it wasn't animated, them roaches aren't real. So they had to make the roaches do something animated.
Yeah, and Joe's Apartment was a dope movie.
I'm looking forward to
dope for that.
Yeah, it's gross as shit.
Yeah.
But for what it was, I love Joe's Apartment. When Beavis and Butthead try to steal the TV from their school and Mr. Van Driesen stops them, the Geffen Productions logo can be seen on the chalkboard in his classroom. I never noticed that. Never knew that.
Yeah, didn't know that.
Not at all. Demi Moore and Bruce Willis were married at the time of filming. Their characters in this movie are also married to each other.
Oh, look at that couples goal. That's relationship goal right there.
Hey, listen, a couple that does voiceover work together stays together. Well, at least we thought, because they ain't together no more.
that didn't last long.
Nah. Now, this is something that when I read this, I was like, get the fuck out of here. But when the film was being envisioned as a live-action movie, the studio wanted Chris Farley and David Spade to play Beavis and Butthead.
I can see Chris Farley.
Who the hell would Chris Farley play?
As his voice?
No. This is when they wanted to do a live-action Beavis and Butthead movie.
Yeah, nah, he wouldn't have made it.
Who would he play besides the principal?
Yeah, that's about it.
I mean, seriously. R.I.P. Chris Farley, though.
Yeah, nah, he couldn't play nobody but the principal.
Yeah.
Because the principal was the only big person there.
Yeah. I just didn't see it. David Spade as Beavis, possible. But Chris Farley, who the hell would he play? All right, last one. Owing to the success of the film, a sequel was planned to be released in 1999, but plans were eventually scrapped.
Good. Glad it didn't make a sequel.
God, you sound so evil when you say it.
That's how I felt when I watched it. I was like, oh my God, my brain is dying.
Well, that's it. Beavis and Butthead Do America, 20 years. Happy 20th birthday to Beavis and Butthead Do America and all the good folks at MTV. Kay, what do you take away from Beavis and Butthead Do America? If they were to remake this movie today, would you watch it?
No, I would not. And I don't think you would be able to pay me to watch it. Nope, they have to think about it. Now, the only thing that may get me to watch it is if somebody watched it first, like you, and told me they had a granny in there.
Okay. Fair enough. But
then I may watch it to see how she stands to this granny. But if there ain't no granny in it, I definitely wouldn't watch it.
It needs to be Betty White, otherwise I'm not interested.
Yeah, I agree.
So, your overall feeling for this movie, would you rewatch Beavis and Butthead Do America again?
Not at all.
No.
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 Already deleted it off the computer. It's gone.
And off my mind. We're good.
Yep. I'm good. Don't need to relive that story.
Got you. So
I'm ready to get out the DeLorean on that one.
Man. It needs gas, but we got it. We got it. Well, that's the show then, man. Let's wrap it up right there. Let the people know where they can find you.
Facebook, I am KAY Williams. Instagram, I am PHA1914. And Twitter. And, this for all the listeners, I'll be starting up my Twitter this week.
Don't believe that shit.
Yeah, no, I'm serious.
Don't believe that shit.
I had to reset my password because apparently it expired.
Right.
Some years ago.
Yeah, right. You can find me on all the social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, at I am Jay Alonzo. I'm always there. I'm always active. So if you ever want to get at me, you definitely can. K, we have our first freaking guest next week, man.
Oh, and I can't wait till next week.
We're now at the place we getting freaking guests. I cannot wait. We have a special guest for next week's show. Look out for the announcement soon. Cannot wait to have this guy on there. He is a movie buff. He's also a pro wrestler. So the possibilities are fucking endless. But damn it, we'll be back next week. This is Back to the Classics. I'm Jay Alonzo. That's Kerry Williams. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
We out.